Alright, welcome to the good old lunch video, most consistent, best video. I will need to start doing multiple videos a day on the weekend. I guess at the very least a half-hour video from 5 to 5:30. I do like to do some things after work. So especially, and now I've got unfortunately a time limit on one of those things where um, just doing it right after, just doing another video right after work um, won't necessarily align with the other plans I have, um, unless I can find a way to do a video late at night, maybe right before bed. But typically I find doing something akin to pulling my own teeth out is really hard to do right before I want to go to bed. So lunchtime, in the middle of the work day is usually the best for something like that. Right after work without a break, so I can piggyback on my on the clock, paid mindset. Really is effective as well. That's if anyone's watching this and they want my advice for when's the best time to study, how can I stay motivated, how can I keep the grind going, that's my advice, is try to piggyback on mindsets that you know are going to allow you to accomplish your goals. And the easiest mindset is one where, okay, the boss says I need to do this, I'm getting paid to do this, I'm going to do it. So when the workday ends at that very minute, or when you get a break, that's, in my opinion, the best time to work on some self-initiated project. Because yeah, of course, your boss isn't gonna be the one telling you to study for the JNCIE-SP. You're no longer gonna be on company time getting paid for it, but all that framework, all those mechanisms in your brain will still be there and they'll still be active. So you won't need to fire up any new thought processes in your brain to work on something like this. Yes, all of the reasonings where you might have worked an hour before no longer apply, but you're just more susceptible. It's kind of like when's the best time to do jumping jacks? Probably after you ran, a little bit. It's you can kind of consider in some ways your workday a little bit of a warm up. Although I would say the workday is probably a bit more challenging than this, but that's good news too, because then it kind of puts this into perspective. It's really just a extracurricular thing to help give your career a boost. The hard stuff really happens during the workday, so it can really put this sort of thing in perspective as well, because it's no longer this insurmountable mountain. It's just this tiny extra thing I do after the insurmountable mountain of what you're expected to do during the workday is over. And you can accomplish that during the workday because you're on the clock, you're getting paid, you're not you have management that's going to be the primary, that's going to be there for you. You no longer have that after work for your own personal studies, but it's the framework, the mindset is still gonna linger for a little bit, and you can definitely piggyback on that and basically eliminate those thoughts where it's like, oh, how can I stay motivated? I don't want to do this, that sort of thing. The best way to overcome those thoughts is to just not have them in the first place somehow. Okay, so let's keep working on carrier of carrier VPNs. So last video we were configuring an example. Yeah, and if you find my other channel somehow, one of the things I do in my spare time is I like to juggle, and I use that same strategy. I hacked that worker mindset, and just right after work, instead of going home, I went to the gym and I practiced juggling for like an hour, hour and a half. Some days I can only do like 45 minutes, and that was a really effective strategy. So that kind of advice, hijacking your mindset, even applies to activities that are pretty far removed from what that mindset was initially built and used for. So even though I came from a network engineering job and I did network engineering all day, going straight from the workplace to the gym and then practicing juggling, something completely unrelated to network engineering, was made easier by maintaining that mindset I had in the workplace and carrying it over to the gym where I went and juggled. Okay, so carrier of carriers VPN example. We've got all the devices up and running. So now we're just in the middle of configuring them. I'm not sure which one I stopped on, but it should be fairly easy to check. Okay, I think I might have gotten fairly far. Or actually, I might have just, yeah, I think actually I didn't get all that far. I unfortunately didn't even get past. I think I just blanked out the existing routers, redid the topology, but as far as adding the base config and licensing to the new routers, I still need to do that. So again, I'm not going to be able to share my license, unfortunately, but if you want to get one, just contact Juniper. Okay, and unfortunately, because I've got so many routers, the boot up time takes a lot longer than it used to. So actually, 15 minutes is no longer enough to have the CLI ready to go. So one thing I can do is just push back my cron job. I'm thinking about that because it's just stuck right now. So if I push back my cron job, give it just another half an hour, another 15 minutes to come up, that's probably the best solution. So yep, I think I'm gonna do that actually. This number 2 here is like, I can't even describe like how happy I feel when I see that, because adding that second hard drive was a total nightmare. But I figured it out through my own gumption. There is now a number 2 here instead of a number 1, and I have an extra 500 gigs of space on this server. So I've kind of been keeping my eyes open. I have a like gaming laptop that I haven't used in a long time, and I'm kind of looking at it hungrily, like wanting to pull out the drive and just add it to my server, but I think that's not going to be the right laptop to take apart. I thought I had an extra like external drive somewhere, but I'm not sure what happened to it. But yeah, if I could find that extra external drive, I'd just crack the casing, take out the drive. It's just a regular drive, like it's in a laptop or anything, and then add it to my storage space on this server. So we're still waiting for the CLI to come up. Let's check some of the other devices. Maybe some came up faster than others. Although I do have a feeling they would all come up at the same time. Yeah, so all of them are going to be in this state. No router has a lead over the other. Okay, so let's work on moving the cron job back by a half hour. Okay, so oh, yep, console. Oh, this is to change the console settings. We need the shell. Okay, so let's do find dash name cron. Oh, let's do it from here. Oops, so we've got a bunch of permission denieds. But maybe it's, oh, so let's do and then we're going to redirect the output to results.txt. Oops, or let's redirect it to home results.txt. Like that. Perfect. So now we'll get all the results, and then we can cat out that file. Yep, perfect. So now I can go home. I've got a results.txt, so I'll do a ls result, or sorry, a cat results.txt pipe grep dash v permission denied. Oops, I thought, oop. Okay, I see. I hit Control W. That's just it skips the cursor to the back of the line. So I use that one really often, but in a tab like this, it has different functionality. And the functionality is closing the tab, which is not what I want. Okay, so we want to do except. So let's do a pipe less. Here we go. So yeah, it says it is -v invert match. Maybe it's, I thought I did it right. Did I do a uppercase? Let's see what we got in. Oh, you know what? It just didn't fill it out with anything. Okay, but I'm pretty sure it's in etc, and then cron tab. Yeah, so cat cron tab. Yeah, so here it is. This is the system-wide cron tab. That's the one that's going to be necessary. I think because, oh, actually no, this isn't the cron tab that is using. Okay. Cat cron dash d cd cron dot d. Oh, I did the Control W again. It's just kind of ingrained. It's something I always do. I really hope the test doesn't have everything in tabs like that. Where, I mean, I don't know. Okay, well, we've got everything looking good. Okay. So I wish I could find the cron. Let's do some Google searches. I think that'll be faster. Oh, it looks like it's automatically filled it in with an extra Y. I did not want that. Now, am I using an H? I am. Okay, yeah, there's not going to be an H in there. C-R-O-N, not C-H-R-O-N. Yeah, so I thought it was this file here, but clearly it's not. Yeah, I'm not able to see which file to actually edit. And I know the file is pretty important because you don't use the right file, it won't run using the right set of permissions. Also, it won't, yeah, it's just, okay, maybe this is it. No, we looked at that. It's actually a folder and not a file. So yeah, I don't know what happened to that cron file that I was using. Unless maybe it is this file. Oh, you know what? It is this file. No, this is the right file because you can see. I guess I was confused because I was thinking that that file would look a little different than it does. I'm not even sure how I thought it would look, but this is right because these final two commands, sudo shutdown -r now, are the commands, and you can see we've got the minute and we've got the hour. Minute is first, hour is second, minute is 45. So all I need to do is change that minute to 30, and then that will give the lab an extra 15 minutes to be ready to go for the next video. I think that's going to be important to do. So let's see if everything's up yet. Aha, yeah, everything's up. So yep, I'm going to give it an extra half an hour. So we're going to do vi cron tab. Oops, so the command vi was not found. Let's try vim. Okay, vim was not found, so let's use nano. Hopefully that's on there. Perfect, so we've got nano. So let's give it an extra 15 minutes because there's so many routers in the topology. Okay, so should have plenty of time now. Let's do a Control W to write the file. We're going to write it to the name cron tab. And then we'll do a Control X to exit. Oops, and it looks like the permission was denied. I needed to use sudo. So let's try this again, but we'll use sudo. Okay, and then we'll make the changes. Perfect. And now we'll write it out to the file name cron tab, overwrite what was on there, do a Control X to exit, and let's do a final cat to check the results. Okay, so now we've got an extra 15 minutes for everything to boot up. And the good news is, it looks like that extra 15 minutes will be all that's required. Everything's up now. I mean, it is, I didn't check it at 12:20, sorry, 12:15. So if they're not up by 12:15, clearly since they were set to come up at 11:45, a half an hour will not be enough time for them to boot up. But they are up 6 minutes later, and I usually do like a 6-minute intro to my videos anyway, so hopefully that will be okay. Okay, so next step is going to be to license all of these routers. But it looks like there is some sort of issue right now. I've got an extra, I'm going to close that. Okay, and then, yeah, there's an issue where, okay, nope, they are coming up, perfect. Okay, good. Yep, so this one's not configured yet. I'm just going to start from a more logical position here, and then move my way up towards the rest of them. Okay, and then this is where I won't be able to show my license key, but I can show just about everything up until where I would enter that key. Okay, so now we're going to set the system hostname. Oops, okay, yeah, there we go. Hostname. Alright, now I need to see what that is. Okay, and now set the chassis type. Enhanced IP. Okay, set the root authentication password. Oh, it's going to be plain text password. Oops. Oh. Now, why is it not allowing me to? Why is it? It seems to be working differently than I'm used to it working. Oh, because I'm using show instead of set. That, if I were during real test day, that would cost me like at least 10-15 minutes. That's why it's important to get comfortable in the lab. Okay, so I'll check. I should have 4 lines on there. And then if I do have those 4 lines, I can do a request system license add terminal. Now it is going to take a lot longer to commit everything because there's so many routers, and I'm running, taxing the virtual CPU so much. Yep, so we've got 4 lines. This is the most basic stripped down configuration, I think. So next is to request system license add terminal. And now I've got to paste in my license key, so I'll do that in a different window. Alright, so my license key is added. That's the last step. So I'm going to move on to the next router. And I kind of wish I had saved my... Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'll pull back up the old router here, and then I will do a show configuration pipe display set, type no more, and then this stripped down basic configuration I will streamline using Notepad++. Okay, so that's all I need to do. Next is going to be CE router I. Oh, sorry, it's a PE router now. Okay, so we're good to go. All right, time to enter the key. That was added successfully, so it's time for the next router. So this is going to be J. Okay, time for a new router. Now, I am questioning that this is a CE router. I'm going to double check that. Okay, it is a CE router. I'm just confused that it would be a CE router because I was thinking of these as providers, so ISPs, but because I would think that these would be CE routers. Oh, no, never mind, it makes sense. Because customer, provider, so obviously the customer buys something from the provider. So in this case, we've got the customer buying something from the provider here, ISP, Newton's ISP. But Newton's ISP, unfortunately, doesn't have a customer to the other branch of, so let's say this customer is a bank. They've got a branch in Wisconsin, they've got a branch in Iowa. So in Wisconsin, they call up Newton's ISP and they say, hey, Newton's, give me a connection to my branch in Iowa. Newton says, okay, we got you. They hook them up, but Newton's ISP doesn't have connectivity all the way over to Iowa, they have a branch in Wisconsin, and they have equipment in Wisconsin and the equipment in Iowa, and they can connect the the bank to their equipment at each location, but they can't connect their own equipment together. That would take expensive backbone equipment that they decide not to invest in. So instead, now they can become a customer. Newton's ISP is now a customer to Alfred's ISP, which is now a provider to Newton's ISP. So this is why this ISP here, which I'm calling Alfred's ISP, only has provider routers, because they're providing a service to Newton's ISP, which has both CE and PE routers, because here it's a customer of Alfred's ISP, but here it's providing service to the bank, which only has CE routers in this topology, because they are only a customer. They're a customer of Newton's ISP, but Newton's ISP is both a customer and a provider. They're providing a service to the bank, but they're also a customer of Alfred's ISP, which is only a provider because it is providing transport service to connect the equipment owned by Newton in my example, Wisconsin and Iowa. All right, so now we've got this one. So I think it should be committing. Let's see which router this is. This is CE router K. So I've got this ready to go. Okay, I'm going to pause it quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So time to paste in the license. Okay, and time to move on to, in my example, Alfred's ISP, PE router H. All right, license key time. Yeah, if I could redesign my study strategy, I would try to eliminate this sort of thing more, where I'm just going through and blanking out the lab or entering license keys or that sort of thing. I don't know what I would replace it with though, because the hands-on experience is invaluable, and this is a prerequisite to that. But I guess what I would do is just see if there's a way to have the hands-on experience be a little bit more just streamlined. Oops, so it looks like router G is not responsive. That's a good trick I learned in when I did an internship a long time ago, like 5 years ago, is if you keep double clicking it and nothing happens, and you want to stop yourself from going insane, right click on it, select it, and then you know for sure that it's not just you double clicking wrong. Okay, so this is router G. Okay, time for router F, and hopefully router F is one of the, because there are 6 routers that are already licensed. So yeah, it looks like router F. Yep, because I've got a password. It's going to be a router that is already licensed. And its name, the only problem with router F is that it is named improperly. Let's do a show system license first to make sure that it has been licensed. So yep, we've got the Juniper Eval license added with the license identifier. So next is going to be renaming that hostname. And it's going to be F. Perfect. Okay, time for the next one. Oh, so something's, okay, yep. This is why it's important to change the hostname in the actual topology, so you can use the tab name to make sure that the hostname is correct. Okay, on to router C. Alright, almost done, thankfully. I think that extra 15 minutes in the cron job will make a huge difference though. I can check after work. I think I probably will do, well, let's see if I can do an after work video today. I kind of had something I wanted to do, but to be honest, the last few days I haven't done it anyway. If I were to do it, yeah, then doing the after work video probably wouldn't work, but I haven't done it anyway, and the after work video is really important, and I'm only going to need to do it for another month. So the other thing I had planned to do after work, I think I'm going to plan not to do now, just because it's just another month of study for this exam. And not only that, I actually haven't been doing the thing I had planned to do after work anyway, so it's not like I'm having to give anything up. I'm just having to give up the idea of doing something, and there's really no reason I can't do that for just 30 days. All right, so final router. Okay, so the routers are all set to a initial configuration right now, so I can move on to adding the actual configuration required for the example. Okay, so here it is on router A. Now they didn't give a lot of important information. They didn't give any of the IP addresses required. I think it might be a good exercise to just come up with my own IP addressing scheme. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to configure all of the interfaces with that IP addressing scheme that I come up with, and then I'll have to interchange the IP addresses they gave with the ones I came up with, and that'll be a good exercise because I'll understand more deeply what interfaces, what addresses are used and why, especially for something like the route distinguisher. It'll just give me a better sense of what those identifiers actually refer to. So let's come up with that IP addressing scheme right now. So I think I'm just going to do 10 blocks, and then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 1 through 11. I'm not going to start with 0 because it looks a little bit cleaner in the routing table if you leave off the .0. All right. Yeah, and there's a case to be made to use automation, but I can just do it manually. Okay, well this is interesting here because we can see that if I did a show in terse pipe match GE, I didn't get any results. So unfortunately there's a problem with the forwarding plane. It is cabled together, so I think I'm just going to skip this one for now, and hopefully the next boot cycle it will be able to resolve that issue. So let's do a show chassis FPC 0 PIC 0 on this one. Or just a show chassis FPC 0. Either that or it's I don't have the option PIC because there's an issue. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. So let's look at a different one. Was it show system FPC chassis? No, I thought it was show chassis FPC. I mean, if I just do a show int terse, that's really the best way to tell if the forwarding plane is up. Yeah, so you can see there's forwarding plane issues on these virtual routers. That's pretty common, especially if it's maxed out at CE. I mean, and I believe the control plane comes up before the forwarding plane, so it's sometimes there's not even an issue, it's just taking a while for the forwarding plane to come up. Okay, I tried to open all 12 of the routers, but I only got 6, but I think that's going to be enough because I just want to see if the, yeah. Yeah, I think I might be overloading my hardware a bit too much with this many routers, especially since my trial license expired and I can only use half the number of vCPUs. Okay, well, I've only got a few minutes, so I'm hoping the next reboot caused by the cron job will fix this issue. Let's try rebooting the forwarding plane here and see if that helps. Okay, so now at least we've got output from here, but unfortunately we can see it's empty. That might just be because it is rebooting. Let's see what this output looks like on other routers. So hopefully it'll open it to all 12, but I think if I just get 6, that'll be fine again. Okay, yeah, that's the best it can do, but that is totally fine. So, so it's offline. Okay, this is good news. So we've got it coming up. So I think there was just a delay there where the forwarding plane needed to come up. So unfortunately, I might need to bump my cron job back even further. Maybe even give it a full hour to come up if I've got to wait for the control planes to come up as well. Sorry, the forwarding planes to come up. If the control planes come up first, and then there's a delay for the forwarding planes to come up. A cron job that only allows the control plane to come up but does not give extra time for the forwarding plane is not going to be very useful. So half an hour might not be enough time. I might need to give it a full hour. And even that might not be enough time. Because it looks like it's going through a special testing phase, although it is interesting that testing is appearing under temp instead of state. I would think testing would be a state instead of a temp. Okay, but it says it's online, which is good news. So the FPC is online. Now I thought there was a setting for PIC. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is what I was looking for actually. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I think this is the command I was looking for. We can still see that it still thinks it's empty for some reason, even though it is online. Let's see if the ports are showing up. So the ports still aren't showing up. So the thing is though, I can still apply the configuration. It just won't be functional. But I can still apply the configuration, and if it's functional later, the configuration will apply. That's one thing that's kind of nice about Juniper's. You can have configuration on there that doesn't work now, but it's ready to go when it will work later when you change your forwarding plane. Okay, so okay, the only problem is I can't remember which I need to configure, and it's easier to check it if it's on there, but I can just use the labeling. Okay, so now we're good. So let's do set family inet address 10.0.1.1/30. So this will commit nice and easy. So even though this port is down and not configured, we'll still have a successful commit, and the config will be ready to go, and will activate once this is up, which I'm not sure when that will happen, but Hopefully it will happen soon. Still nothing yet, but let's move on to the next one. And I can always bump the cron job back. We saw just how simple that was. Okay, but I'll need to rely on the labeling. So, oh, this goes to G01. Okay, I'm very rapidly running out of time, but I've got a lot of simple tasks left. And I believe I followed a convention where it's always going to be 1 to the right and then 0 to the left. Okay, hopefully I've got enough time for this. Looks like I've got 4 minutes. So far it's only taken me about a minute to get through 4 of those routers, so feeling pretty optimistic. Okay, so set family INET address, and this is going to be the .4. Okay, so on to the next one. It's going to be .5.2. Okay, I've got 1 minute left, so I'm just going to finish up this last router. Okay, so that's it for this video. In the next video, I will finish configuring all these and then get through the example. And then once I'm done with the example, I'll move on to the next topic. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.